Hey, today I'm going to recap a movie name, Crazy Rich Asians, spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. London, England, 1995. Eleanor Young arrives at the Calthorpe Hotel with her son Nick, sister Felicity, and niece Astrid. When asking at the front desk for her reservation, the clerk and the manager lie about not having her reservation for obviously racist reasons. Eleanor calls her husband, who then calls Lord Calthorpe, who is good friends with the Young family. Calthorpe tells Ormsby that he has sold the hotel to the Youngs, leaving him looking foolish. Eleanor's first act as owner is to order Ormsby and the clerk to wipe the mud that Nick left on the floor. New York City, 2018. Rachel Chu is giving her economics class a lesson by having her play poker with a student, whom she beats, to the impression of the others. Afterwards, Rachel joins Nick, her boyfriend, for a meal. Nick tells Rachel he wants to take her to his hometown in Singapore for the wedding of his best friend, which would be a great opportunity for Nick to introduce Rachel to his family. In the corner, two women from a blog site called Radio 1 Asia spot Rachel and Nick, and one of them snaps a picture of the two of them as she walks past them. This spreads at the speed of light in the Asian community until it makes its way to Eleanor, who is with her sisters, and they start discussing Rachel. She calls Nick to ask about bringing his mysterious girlfriend with him for the wedding. Rachel and Nick go to the airport, where, to her surprise, they are placed in first class. Nick then reveals that his family is very wealthy, and that the flight is one of their perks. He talks about his cousins and sister Astrid, whom Nick describes as being a sweetheart. The couple arrives in Singapore, where they are picked up by Colin and his fiancée. They go around the city and indulge in local food that Rachel hasn't tried. In Astrid's home, she is reading a bedtime story to her son before her husband Michael comes in. He married into the wealthy lifestyle, though Astrid tends to hide some of her expensive shoes and jewelry so as to not be seen by him. The next morning, Rachel goes to visit her old college roommate, Paiklin Go, whose family is also very wealthy, but more new money than Nick's family. Rachel meets Paiklin's parents and her three siblings. When Rachel mentions that she's dating Nick Young, everyone drops what they're doing and informs Rachel just how rich the Youngs are, as they are the biggest real estate developers in the area, as well as other parts of the world. Rachel tells Paiklin of a party the Youngs are throwing that evening at Nick's grandmother's home, and Paiklin takes out some fresh clothes for Rachel to wear. Rachel and Paiklin arrive at the glamorous estate, and Nick invites Paiklin to stay and enjoy the party. Nick brings Rachel around to meet some of his relatives, including his cousins and aunts, before taking her to meet Eleanor, and then his ama, grandmother. Almost instantly, the family looks down upon Rachel for not coming from money like the rest of them. Rachel tells Eleanor how her mother is a single self-made woman working in real estate, and how she is an economics professor, and that her father died before she was born. Eleanor frowns upon this, viewing ambitions as being unnecessary. Elsewhere in the party, Astrid is with Michael before he leaves the room. She looks at his phone and reads a text from another woman saying, "The bed feels empty without you." The next day, Rachel joins Araminta and her friends for her bachelorette party, while Nick joins his cousins for Colin's bachelor party, where Nick reveals an engagement ring that he plans to use to propose to Rachel. Colin notes that Nick already stunned his family by not returning the year earlier to inherit their company, and to marry Rachel would mean to walk away from his inheritance. Meanwhile, the ladies are on an island where Araminta treats them to a shopping spree and a spa day. Rachel meets one of her friends, Amanda Ling, who then reveals herself as Nick's ex-girlfriend and starts trying to subtly play with Rachel's feelings. Rachel leaves the spa when she overhears the other girls making snide comments about her. She runs into Astrid, who tries to comfort her, but they then find a dead gutted fish on Rachel's bed in her room. Astrid helps Rachel bury the fish on the beach that night as the other women dance and drink. Astrid then confides to Rachel that Michael is having an affair. When they reunite, Rachel tells Nick about what happened with the other women, and she is more upset that he didn't tell her about any of his past, but he felt none of it mattered. He later brings Rachel to Eleanor's house so that she can learn how to make dumplings the way Su Yi taught Nick how to do so. Later, as Rachel is trying to find her room, Eleanor tells her that Su Yi did not initially approve of Eleanor for her son, and it took a while for her to come around. However, Eleanor makes it firmly clear to Rachel that she doesn't think Rachel is good enough for Nick. Rachel has lunch with Paiklin and says that she may skip the wedding to not create any drama. Paiklin convinces her otherwise, and brings Rachel back to her house to pick out a nice outfit for the wedding. On the way to the wedding, Astrid confronts Michael about his affair. Michael tries to turn it around on her for making him feel inferior with her constantly buying expensive items, and he gets out of the car to leave her attending the wedding alone. Rachel turns up at the wedding and impresses everyone with her dress. The wedding then goes on, with Nick telling Rachel he loves her and vice versa, and Colin and Araminta are married. During the reception, Rachel and Nick are called to meet with Eleanor and Sue Yi. Eleanor reveals she hired a private investigator to dig into Rachel's past, and it turns out that Rachel's biological father is still alive, but that Rachel's mother was previously married to another man before she cheated on him with Rachel's father and fled to America. Nick is furious at Eleanor, and Rachel runs away from the party, telling Eleanor she wants no part of her family. Nick tries to catch her, but she's gone. Rachel stays with Peaklin, depressed in her bedroom. The following morning, Rachel is surprised to find her mother showing up to the house. When Rachel brings up the matter about her father, she explains that her original husband was abusive to her, and she took comfort with a school friend that later got her pregnant with Rachel. Fearing that her husband would kill them if he found out, she fled to America. She also reveals that it was Nick who called her out of concern for Rachel. Michael packs his bags to leave, but Astrid says she is instead taking Cassian with her to live in one of her other apartments. She tells Michael she can't expect him to act like a man because he isn't one. She then takes the earrings she bought earlier, but hid from Michael, and she finally wears them. Nick meets with Rachel in the city by the water. He takes out his ring and proposes to her. Eleanor goes to a spot downtown where people are playing mahjong after Rachel invited her. Rachel tells Eleanor that she turned down Nick's proposal because she doesn't want to be the reason that his family disowns him, but she notes that if he chose them over her, Nick might spend the rest of his life resenting Eleanor. She loves Nick so much that she is willing to sacrifice her happiness for his and leaves with her mother. Rachel prepared to leave to go back to New York, but Nick shows up on the plane to try and talk to Rachel. He explains what his ideal proposal would have been, but he doesn't care about it because he loves her so much and would give up his whole fortune just to spend the rest of his life with her. Nick proposes once again on the airplane, but this time with Eleanor's ring, with all the passengers watching. Rachel says yes this time. Nick later surprises Rachel by throwing an engagement party on a rooftop with all of his friends and family attending with excitement. Eleanor even manages to give Rachel a sincere smile. Rachel and Nick kiss as fireworks explode across the sky. And with that, we come to the end of our movie. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on the exciting content to come. Hit that notification bell, and let's continue exploring the world together. Thank you for being a part of our incredible community. Your support and engagement inspire us to keep pushing boundaries and creating content that sparks joy, curiosity, and connection.